Hi everyone, we're the Hurdlers. I'm Erin.
I'm Nick.
And we have been homeschooling for just about 6 years. We have 4 kiddos.
Ages 11, 9, 6, and 3. And Assumption Parents reached out to us and asked us to create a little video to offer some encouragement about homeschooling, things that kind of helped us along the way, just some little tidbits, things that could help, especially during this time where you guys have maybe been forced into this sort of distance learning, homeschooling mix-up sort of thing. So here we go. We created top 10 lists, things that, again, we just have found helpful over the years.
And we by no means have this figured out. We are learning every day, every minute of every day, every year, of just how things should work and change and be better. So, so our top 10, here we go. Number 1 is create order. And that goes with schedule, planning meals, and chore responsibility. We found all 3 of those things to be super helpful. So having a loose schedule, we write it out, and it is on a magnet on the side of our fridge. And so, again, loose but not too loose. So general time frames, things they're supposed to be doing in each section of time, scheduling exercise and free time and those kinds of things. The meal plan, we've found that it's been super helpful to plan our meals and our snacks at the beginning of the week. It helps with grocery shopping, and also nobody's whining because the meal is planned ahead of time. Everybody eats the same thing, and there's a lot less drama. And then the last thing with chore responsibility, we've just found that everybody has to carry their own weight and clean up after themselves. And if you don't have order in your home, there's not going to be peace. It's chaos.
Total chaos.
It doesn't work. So,
Especially in our household.
create order. Number 2.
Yeah, number 2, lower your expectations, and then go ahead and lower them one more time.
I know when we started homeschooling, I had a Pinterest board, and I had this vision in my head of what I wanted to look like, and it was going to be beautiful, and we were going to learn to bake and learn outside the box and those kinds of things. And we got about 3 hours in, and it was a Pinterest fail, and not what I had in my mind at all. So this will be a learning experience for you guys, a huge change in the way you're used to doing things, a lot of trial and error. So lower your expectations, give yourself grace, and just be ready to learn and to grow and adapt.
Yep. Speaking of grace, number 3, probably the most important, is to start your day with prayer. That's your own personal prayer, the time that you give yourself before you are out of bed or just before the kids are up. Make sure you're starting your day with that personal prayer. And then, after everybody gets up, and starts eating breakfast, then we start our school day with family prayer. And we just come together on the couch. It's super quick, but it's really important that we gather together and bring the Lord into our mess, really, our day. To bring the Lord into our day and to rely on His saving grace. So,
number 4 is work as a team and a family unit. This will not work if you don't work as a team, and if you don't talk to your kids intentionally about being a team, and then also you and your spouse being a team. We both work, and so when I'm at work, he's doing the schooling, and when he's at work, I'm doing the schooling. And so right now I'm able to work from home, but he doesn't have that luxury. He's a paramedic, and so he's still going to be out of the house, and so I'm going to be balancing work with the kids' schooling. And so we're just going to need to work together and be a little bit more adaptable. And that goes with chores and everything. Like, they need to carry their weight, and just talking to them lovingly about that ahead of time is really helpful, we've found. And then on to some practical tips.
Yeah, practical tips. Number 5, for our older kids, we found that they really love screen time, and they really love their video games. So we save their screen time until all their other work is done, and all their other daily chores, all their daily work is done, and then they get their screen time. If they finish early, then they can get to their screen time earlier. And if they do, extra things, then maybe they get extra time on their screens. So, but we found that if we start letting them get into video games or something throughout the day, then it's really hard to pull them back out.
It just helps their brains work better.
Yeah.
So
and plus they look forward to it, they work faster, they do better work, and knowing that they get that reward at the end of the day. So for your little ones, if you have toddlers at home, we have found we use what's called a busy box. So it's things that Sam only gets, our toddler, he only gets those things when the older kids are doing their schoolwork. So it allows him to focus on all of that, and he's busy doing that while the other kids are busy doing their work. So
and you can Google there's so many ideas out there for toddlers, so trains and stickers and things like that puzzles,
tons of stuff,
and it just helps him focus and be a little less needy during the time when we really have to focus on the kids. Number 6, we found that lots of exercise is really important, especially with 3 boys. Stretching, we usually do it stretch in the morning, and we've also found that scheduling exercise in the day is really practically the only time that we were able to fit in time for our own exercise routine. And so the kids exercise, and sometimes that's a workout video from YouTube. There's Star Wars themed videos and princess stuff, and it's just helpful to get their hearts moving and up and moving around, getting their exercise or their energy out. They're kind of squirrely, and so it helps for the rest of the day to help them focus and get their work done if they've gotten all their wiggles and stuff out. So that's really good.
Number 7 kind of leads into that, is to have fun, allow them to be creative, allow yourself to be creative. Don't forget to have a sense of humor. Like for us, if we didn't have our sense of humor, we would probably gosh, I don't know.
Curl up and die.
Yeah, we would totally.
When things are getting too serious, you just got to turn it in. Anything you can turn into a game, do it. If everybody needs to stop and take a break and have a dance party, do that. It takes 5 minutes, and it creates some family bonding, and it changes the pace of things. We use a lot of chocolate as motivators, so anything you can turn into a game.
Throwing chocolate at the kids. If they get a math problem right, chocolate. All the time. It's
that
great.
much chocolate. We buy the bag from Costco of chocolate chips, and anything you can turn into a game, do that. Nobody wants to learn when it's boring, and so have fun with it.
Yeah, because these are really stressful times, and they're already probably under a lot of stress. Leads us to number 8, is to check on your kid, and to make sure that they're doing okay. Because this is a stressful time for everybody. It's stressful for you to become their primary teacher and to make sure they're getting their work done. And it's stressful for them. They're used to going to school and being with their friends, and it's part of their routine. Kids are creatures of habit, right? So if you break that creature, don't break the creature. If you break that habit, it throws a wrench into their psyche. And so just make sure that they're doing okay. They're probably going to be stressed out. And if we're going back to number 7, having fun, still having a sense of humor, making games, and just doing silly little things like having a dance party or something, it really helps with their self-esteem, and just to motivate them and to keep them from not drowning in their sorrows, really, too.
And this is a huge adjustment for everybody, so just remember that.
Definitely.
And so number 9 that leads us to is don't isolate yourself either. Have your support network. Lean on your spouse, especially, primarily, if you can. And
this is huge for us. If we didn't have our community, homeschooling would not be an option for us. It just would not work. And if we didn't support one another in our mission to homeschool our kids, it wouldn't work. So like she said, don't isolate yourself. If there's another parent or your spouse, don't suffer alone. talk to them about your struggles and what you're struggling with your kids, and just making sure that you still have community, even though we're practicing social distancing and all these things. You still have somebody else that you can talk to, somebody else you can reach out to and rely on.
Or the other moms in their classes too are struggling with the same things that you guys. And you know, if you don't understand something, reach out to their teacher. I'm sure they would be happy to support you in that. So in closing, the last one, we wanted to just say, have an attitude of gratitude. There is always something to be thankful for. This attitude of gratitude is a phrase in our house. Their kids probably get annoyed with it. But
anytime somebody complains, they have to name 2 things that they're grateful for.
And it can't be the same 2 things that they named 5 minutes ago when they were whining.
It's difficult.
And it's good for us to practice that too as adults and as parents. And if we can set the tone for them, to just have a grateful heart, it goes so far. There is always something to be grateful for. There is always someone who is worse off than us, whether that's a meal the kids don't like. Well, at least they have the meal. And you know,
or this time that we're in, you know, look at your schedules from before. I know for us, every night of the week was packed, and all of that came to a grinding halt. And we could, you know, be bitter, and we could, you know, just drown in our sorrows. But really, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to like come together as a family and just, I mean, when are we going to have this time? When are we going to have this time where our nights aren't packed? We know we're here, we're with the ones that we love, and we can use this time to create new memories and to create just beautiful moments of
new traditions or hobbies. We really have been given the gift of time. And so, you know, in our heart of hearts, the reason we really decided to homeschool was about the relationships, about fostering the sibling relationships between our kids, and then also the parent-child relationship. And so, and we've really loved it. And, you know, obviously it's an adjustment period, and it's the hardest thing we've ever done. You know, and even, you know, more difficult with being just thrown into this. We had time to calculate our risk and decide this and choose this, and you guys have been thrown into this. And so give yourself grace, but also just see this time as a gift with your family and with your kids. You know, no one ever gets to the end of their life and says, I mean, not that anyone's at the end of their life, but and says, you know, I wish I didn't spend so much time with my kids. Like that's not going to come out of your mouth. And so if you can foster a spirit of gratitude in your home and just be grateful for this time together. Take one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. This is overwhelming, and that's okay.
But don't let it steal your joy.
Yeah. So we will be praying for you. Anyone who watches this video, we will intentionally pray for you. And please pray for us. God bless.
Bye.